What is up, Regigigas fans? My name is Eben, and today we're going to take a look at Slowking. He's from the latest set, Breakpoint. Well, I guess Generations is kind of the latest set. It depends on how you look at it. But this guy's job is to sit on our bench and use his Royal Flash ability to sort of essentially energy stall our opponents. Every turn he gets a coin toss chance of moving an energy from their active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon, and you get to choose that Mon. He has an okay attack here that is a nice backup attack because it deals 40 damage the first turn and then 80 on each successive turn. So with Muscle Band, you're looking at 100 damage a turn, essentially, with his Psych Up. So that's 2 hit KOing most things. So that's not too shabby at all. So it's like I say, it's a nice backup attack for us. But basically, this deck is all about control. This is Slowking Bats. So we're using Bats to score controlled knockouts, Slowking to take care of those energies, and we do have 2 other forms of control to sort of complement our Slowking. But Slowking is kind of the point because he can move things onto bench Pokemon, like let's say move that double colorless energy onto a Feebas against Night March. Or he can, let's say, take Giratina's energies away and make sure that Giratina EX can basically never do anything to you. You know, move that double dragon to somebody. Oh, it doesn't even legally attach? It falls off. Move that burning energy to a Shaman. Move that strong energy to a Shaman. Move lots of energies to Shaman. What are they going to do? AZ it up? Oh, they just lost all their energies. Yeah, there are lots of ways we can mess with our opponents with Slowking. At the very least, we can stall our opponents. And at the very best, this guy is essentially like a crushing hammer every turn in a lot of ways. And we can have more than one on our bench at a time. So this guy's pretty gosh darn powerful. Now to support him, we've got 3 of this Slowpoke, largely because it's got the most HP. And its tail lure attack can be kind of interesting. And we definitely run double colorless energy in this deck. Now, as far as the Bats line, it's pretty straightforward. We got 2 Crobat, we've got 3 Golbats, and we are a little pressed for space. We run 19 Pokemon in this deck as it is. So we're just running 3 Zubats, but we got plenty of ways to go get them. So 3 is sufficient. Our main attack and our secondary form of control is Seismitoad EX, as you might have already guessed. His Quaking Punch is an easy setup, and our ideal situation is this guy in the active slot, Quaking Punching for an item lock, whilst we got a Slowking or 2 on our bench using Royal Flash to get an energy lock, and we even run Silent Lab to lock basic Pokemon abilities to put our opponent in a very nasty control situation that can be very difficult for a lot of decks to get out of. However, despite running Silent Lab, we are running 2 copies of Shaman. Basically, the idea is to try to find one of these early game, play it, get it off, and then if we do have to play a second, that's okay. We do run Super Scoop Ups and AZ to get them back off the board, but we do want to have our bench pretty much with like 2 Slowking, 2 Zubat, Golbat, Crobat family members at any given time, and then probably like another Seismitoad or 1 Shaman kind of hanging around. But we don't want both on our bench if we can avoid it. But anyway, you know, situational. Supporter-wise, we're running 4 Sycamores because we definitely want to accelerate into our stuff. We don't want to get locked out. We want to make sure that that opening turn is ideal. We've got 1 copy of Judge because this can really do damage to our opponents after we've got them in a lock situation by reducing their cards. We've got 1 copy of Lysander. This can be particularly useful for like knocking out things we've stacked a lot of energy onto, etc. We have 1 copy of AZ for all the obvious reasons, denying knockouts with the Seismitoad, reusing our bats, etc. And we do have 1 copy of Hexmaniac because there are just one too many things out there that can give our Seismitoad some problems. Things like Aegislash and Pyroarsing a little use. And there are some other things too that can be problematic for us. And playing this early can even be useful for stopping things like Shaman, obviously. So I feel like it's a necessary run. You could sub it for Zerosic, but I kind of prefer the Hexmaniac in this deck. We're running 4 Versus Seekers to really take advantage of our supporters. We want to get them going. Super useful, pretty obvious. Ultra Ball, also pretty gosh darn obvious. We want to get our Slowkings up, so we want to be able to search them. Blah, blah, blah. We've got 4 Trainer's Mail. This is very important to the consistency of the deck, of course. And speaking of consistency, another 4F card. We're running 4 Super Scoop Ups. These are obviously pretty much for your Crobats and for saving your Seismitoad periodically. And of course, you can get your Shaman off the bench as well, which is always nice. We're running 3 Muscle Bands, 1 for each of our Seismitoad EXs, because he's pretty much the only one who should ever want it conventionally. We're running 3 Silent Labs. Like I say, play it with a little bit of caution because of Shaman. But once you've played your Shaman, this is an easy card to drop once you know it'll work on your opponent. And this can be very useful for shutting down things like Wobbuffet that can otherwise be very problematic for us. While Wobbuffet doesn't hurt the bats, it does hurt Slowking. And while Wobbuffet's not necessarily the biggest fan of this deck anyway, it's nice to be able to shut it off so that we can be assured of Slowking continually energy draining things. So, and of course it shuts off a bevy of other things as well. Now we do have a town map. We got a lot of cards that we definitely want to be able to find in our prizes, like a copy of Crobat or Golbat hidden in our prizes, Slowking, things like that. We have a Super Rod in case we have to Ultra Ball or Sycamore something crucial like a Bat Away. That way we can get it back. We do have a 1-out switch because things like Slowking do have kind of a somewhat unpleasant retreat cost, so we do have a switch to kind of mitigate that weakness just a little bit. And we can also use it on Seismitoad a little less painfully than, say, Floatstone. And energy-wise, we're running 4 double colorless energies, and finally we're running 4 water energies, which allows our Slowking to potentially attack, and we can even Grenade Hammer in theory with our Seismitoad EX, although obviously 99 times out of 100 we'll definitely want to be Quaking Punching. But anyway, that is the deck. It's pretty nifty. It's very frustrating for a lot of opponents to play against and can give you a big element of control, and that's something to consider when you're playing. It can be a very sound strategy. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, and until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Twitter. The link is below, and I will see you next time.